Amid Nicolas Maduro's fall, a new target has emerged, as Trump and Rubio increasingly turn their gaze toward Cuba and hint at what could come next. On January 11th, Trump reposted a viral claim that Marco Rubio will be president of Cuba, amplifying a provocative line that quickly gained attention online. The post, originally written by Cliff Smith, lit up Trump's social platform and sent shockwaves across social media and political circles. The repost came as Trump's team openly signaled a new pressure campaign against Havana, framing it as the next front after Venezuela. Since January 3rd, memes have flooded social media, casting Rubio as Mayor of Greenland, a Viking warrior, and many other exaggerated roles. Netizens joked that Rubio holds every job in Trump's administration, from war czar to liberator, portraying him as omnipresent in foreign policy. The humor, however, masked a hard message. Cuba is now in Washington's crosshairs after the operation that toppled Maduro in Caracas. The Washington Post reported that Trump and Rubio see Cuba's fall as a strategic goal in itself, not just a side effect of events in Venezuela. Since January 3rd, both Trump and Rubio have signaled that Maduro's ouster could trigger or accelerate a collapse of the regime in Havana.
You know, one of the things that is happening, and I think you see it all the time, Howard, you've seen it, that Cuba is ready to fall. You know?
Yes.
Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold out. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
Rubio went further, issuing a pointed warning to Havana after Maduro's capture by U.S. forces in the coordinated raid. The U.S. Secretary of State told NBC's Meet the Press that the Cuban government should be concerned about what comes next. In the interview, Rubio said, and I quote, "If I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned. I won't talk about future steps, but they're in a lot of trouble." Unquote. Rubio called Cuba a huge problem when asked directly if it was now Washington's next target in the region. The Secretary of State said the United States was not a fan of the Cuban regime after the Venezuela operation, underscoring a hardline stance from the State Department. Notably, Cuba never fully recovered after the Soviet collapse, despite a brief uptick during the Obama-era opening to the island. Years of sanctions and long-term party mismanagement have pushed Cuba's economy into deep instability and chronic shortages. Tourism and private business openings faded after Trump reversed key Obama policies and retightened restrictions. The island also faced severe COVID-19 shocks and mass protests during the crisis of 2021, exposing deep domestic discontent. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel called Maduro's capture barbaric state terrorism, denouncing Washington's actions in the strongest terms. Diaz-Canel compared the operation to crimes against humanity in Gaza, according to Cuban state media reports. Cuba fears a repeat of history after past U.S. occupations and the failed 1961 Bay of Pigs invasion, which still looms large in national memory. The second Trump term is now seen as a far greater threat by Cuba's communist leaders than any recent U.S. administration. From memes to oil blockades and diplomatic pressure, Rubio's name is now central to Washington's emerging Cuba strategy. As Venezuela falls into U.S. hands, Cuba stands as the next potential flashpoint on Trump's strategic map in the Western Hemisphere.